Face slash voice reveal for the channel, yay! And well, this thing, like, it was just an idea that I thought was funny and just kind of a way to branch out into making more stuff involving my voice. I don't think I'm actually going to make things like live reactions or reviews anything regular, but I just thought that this was just a nice, like, or kind of cool thing to experiment with that type of live stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy. To kick things off, we are going to cover the infamous copypasta. A copypasta, according to Bandles, is a phrase or body of text which is copied and pasted over and over, oftentimes in comment sections online. The goal of this meme is to completely take the attention away from the original point or meaning of the content by rapidly injecting stupidity and comedy into discussion. A great example of a copypasta is in the comment section of our latest track, Juice.
Lol sounds like.
As you can see, the phrase lol sounds like chode gang has been adopted as the copypasta in an effort to take away from the validity or value of the original content posted. The best thing you can do if you find yourself in the opposite end of a copypasta is to play along, because science has yet to find a proper defense for such a potent meme. And with that out of the way, let's get started, I guess. A critical / literary analysis of Apriska's Push It. At first, the common music enthusiast may think Push It is an ordinary, fun, and catchy song, but if you examine it with a trained eye and mind, several layers of ingenuity become apparent. The first and most prominent phrase, push it way down low, immediately captures the attention of the listener. It may seem like a repetitive and simple phrase, but there is a lot at work here. Apriska is referring to taking our daily struggles and putting them under ourselves, which elevates us to a place where we are in control of our mindset. Even though we are not fully in control of our lives and our destiny, making that change to our mindset can really elevate us and allow us to feel content in any situation. The true beauty of the song emanates after the drop, where we hear the character react to their immersion in reality by repeatedly exclaiming "what" over and over again. It shines a light on how we can put our minds to accomplishing something, but when we are in the moment, it's hard to act on our beliefs. This constant back and forth of ideas expressed in the song portrays the human condition and our day-to-day conflicts we experience in life. The sheer skill level of Chibs is unmatched. On first glance, you might think, oh, he just does rhythm. Oh, his music sounds goofy. Those are surface-level observations of an untrained ear and soul. It takes a special man to realize that Chibs' music, that's an understatement, godly melody says something deeper about life and its values, about true peace of mind and happiness. What a layman might just brush off as wacky or goofy sound design is more of a symbol of the absurd of our day-to-day existence, repeated through the hypnotic rhythms, symbolizing our boring yet paradoxically interesting daily routine. That's the message that Chibs' artworks are meant to bring to us mortal people. Thankful to have the opportunity to listen to these angelic songs. Existence may feel absurd and boring, but it's up to you to bring color into this gray corner of the galaxy, to find the fun in the odysseys of this earth. It's truly inspiring, uplifting even, and to think that I'm so lucky to be able to accept Chibs into my soul with his heavenly rhythms, which bring me into ecstasies with each hit of the distorted yet colorful bass, beautiful, enchanting as a siren song. If the siren was a chain smoker, but the smoke of choice is a sweet strawberry-flavored vape. And those who decry Chibs as being generic, simple, or bad even, have yet to fully open their mind about all this and escape the colorless drudge of self-hate and depression into the vibrant world of Chibs. Christ, his artist name is literally a typo of gamer. Is it really surprising that he would integrate gaming references plus elements into his art? Fortnite is actually a great game. A good chunk of our staff play, a good chunk of the artists you look up to play as well. The only people who are looking childish are the ones bitching about the art. If you still think monstercat is referred to as a label for kids by anyone of actual importance, you haven't been following the last 3 years of the label. My debut album is one of the most ambitious, maybe even one of the best electronic albums of all time. I know it sounds crazy, but I just can't imagine anyone else taking you on a journey quite like this, or even trying. I am pissed off beyond belief. Hey everyone, Hong Kong NPC Clown Meme here. I really need to get something off my chest. On August 1st, 2019, something amazing happened in this community. Shock One released one of the best albums of all time. This album included the legendary song Silver and Gold. When this song was uploaded to the Instinct channel, I was filled with joy. It was a happiness I had never felt in my life before. It is now the best song released this year on monstercat, and easily an all-time favorite. Fast forward a few months later, and the IV4 tracklist is released. I happily opened my computer and scrolled through the list. At first, I was confused. Where is Shock One? I asked myself. I assumed I had just scrolled past on accident. I looked again and started to worry. That day, I looked through the tracklist at least 10 times, hoping it would showcase those sacred words, but to no avail. Tears started forming in my eyes. How could they? How could they include two Half an Orange songs, both Pegboard Nerd songs from the same EP, and countless other songs that didn't even approach the quality of Silver and Gold while excluding it? I'm fucking done. I'm already packed my bags, and I'm ready to just leave. I'm going to take a train to a city far, far away and start a new life, all while blasting Silver and Gold through my Apple earbuds. I will keep you all updated on my journey. Thank you for reading, and fuck whoever decided to exclude this song from the comp. What if you manually disperse each of the individually vocoded phase partials, generated by a quantized granulator of course, into a spectral resonance sequencer, then compress it in parallel through a series of additive convolver engines until the low-end frequencies are spectrally morphed into the high-end frequencies? Now that you've gone through a spectral morph cycle, it might be relevant to include a subtractive linear phase EQ followed by an additive freeform phaser to reintegrate pleasant partial harmonic artifacts of the sound in a method that is non-destructive to the general phase and tonality. The resonant addition combined with the notches and subtraction provides a spectrally and tonally balanced, yet melodically dissonant formant movement. Next, saturate the fundamental and median frequency and lightly expand the stereo image and general dimension of the harmonics. Amplitude modulate the post-spectral resonance sequence signal from before to a Brownlee generator. I personally use Faceplant due to its impossibly high bitrate and immaculate kilobyte to second ratio, but you may use any non-additive noise generator you like, which will add crunchy high-end that is unbiased and free of DC offset. At this point, the resonance at 2324 Hz precisely should be clipping, so gently apply a band stop and a biased multiband additive phase modulation ladder filter set to low cut mode. Now that our frequency balance has once again been spectrally reshifted into a balanced state, we can reapply an additive multi-oscillator static convolver with the wet level at precisely 50.4%. The impulse should be metallic, with a 6 decibel per octave shelf between 200 and 800 Hz. That, my good friends, is just step 1 to making the sound you so desperately strive for. I had a phase from October 12, 2019 to March 12, 2020. This phase was called NCS Level. Ever since Volt introduced me to rankings and NCS, I know what this was back ago, but I didn't listen to really any tracks until this appeared. Then in November, I started to love NCS more, to where in December last year, where I got to the point that I freaking loved NCS. At first, I didn't know what the tracks/artists were, but if it was music, it was music. In February this year, Martin EDM gave everyone an early listen to the upcoming NCS song. When my school shut down because Corona, my phase ended. Then there was another phase that I was in, but I'll talk about that later. Can you delete this shit, man? I bring army force now. I'm not stealing anything, lol, man. And I'm not in music industry, lol, peaceful shit. Not all made by Amuse.io free distribution company, lol. Don't read this. You will be kissed on the nearest possible Friday by the love of your life. Tomorrow will be the best day of your life. Now that you've started reading this, don't stop, this is so freaky. But if you read this and ignore it, then you will have very bad luck. Put this on 15 songs in 144 minutes. When you are done, press spacebar and your crush's name will appear in big letters on the screen. This is so freaky, it actually works. It doesn't. Mainstream versus underrated. Today, I had an argument with a friend. He told me that if I don't listen to Avicii, there's something wrong with me. He listens to EDM, I listen to EDM. However, he listens to mainstream while I listen to underrated. I told him I listen to EDM and I didn't like Avicii or Marshmello. He thinks of EDM as only the popular artists, Avicii, Marshmello, Chainsmokers, etc. I kept telling him that I don't listen to that stuff and he got mad at me. like physical contact. I showed him all the artists I listened to, Pegboard Nerds, Grant, Tokyo Machine, The Fat Rat, etc. He said I didn't know what real EDM was, and that I don't listen to real EDM. This infuriated me. How do I convince him otherwise? How would someone who has been listening to EDM for 7 years not know what real EDM was? I listened to EDM. Favorites, future-based, trap house, dubstep. Those are EDM genres. He thinks that real EDM is only mainstream. How do I get this through his little head? And he also said that underrated artists are still underrated because they don't make good music. Underrated is not the same thing as bad. TLDR, if you don't listen to Avicii or Marshmello, there's something wrong with you. I've been listening to EDM for 7 years. Friend told me I don't know what real EDM is. Don't know what to tell him. I unironically hate the catalog. I think the franchise is weak, the memes are overdone, the drama is unnecessary, and the whole thing just seems like a giant inside joke. You see, the catalog started out as a simple thing on the side for anyone to get involved in or enjoy. Recently, however, more and more videos based on obscure references or inside jokes have begun to surface. This makes it so that it seems very hard for new people to know what is going on and participate as a result. The way the admins of this channel are treating the community is unacceptable as well. In many cases, those in power mock the community as if this community has no value, despite it being the reason the channel is still around. Unfortunately, the mocking is merely the surface of where this channel goes. It is safe to say the catalog has gone so far as to even lie to its audience for the sole purpose of creating drama. Take, for example, the ranking of monstercat's Best of 2018 ranking. If you can recall, the first place of this ranking was awarded to Cranktat and to Soki's Wobble, which allegedly earned the votes of every single catalog ranker. However, private interviews and investigations with some of these rankers have revealed that these votes were rigged, and that Wobble was placed first for the sole reason of sparking controversy, thus bringing the catalog more attention and views. The worst part of this horrible plot was the fact that it worked on everyone. Instead of seeming appealing to visitors as a channel should be, the catalog has devolved itself into building its foundation completely on recycled content. While I still think the channel can redeem itself, the attitude of the team seems to speak differently. Because of this, I unironically hate and will continue to unironically hate this sketchy, exclusive, and overall repulsive channel. You can't fucking stop me. You can't stop my sound. I'm the punk rock solution to this EDM nightmare. So make your jokes and make your memes. Try to stay relevant while aiming that hatred at my name. All the while, I'm making real music to combat the masses of basic beats y'all seem to be producing or mixing. Try to hate on my originality because we all know most of you fake-ass artists don't even have a decent following, let alone your own music to perform with. You are a replicated simulation, and I will unplug this fucking machine, even if I have to infect the whole system. Our sound will dominate. Hashtag supreme, hashtag supreme, hashtag supreme, hashtag fuck. You have no taste in music. As a music producer, as a critic, as a fan of bass music, and as a human being with functioning ears, I will defend Yuki from this slanderous review. The EP named Fission, clever name by the way, is a masterclass in bass music mixed with underground screamo hip-hop. The vocals delivered on these songs remind me of the late and great XXXTentacion with how rough and primal they are, clearly taking inspiration also from the late and great Kurt Cobain. The harsh wubs of the bass sear through the mix in various speed and tenures, creating a chaotic, in a good way, atmosphere where nothing, except for the driving kick and drums, is safe from the syncopated patterns this beautiful music provides. I'm so sick of this shit, bitch, I'm fucking sick of this shit! You do know that I have thousands of fans and thousands of daily listeners, right? Plus the fact that I've been making music since 2013. You don't think that all of these people know that I created my own music? This is ridiculous. I work, and I've worked hard making my music, and don't appreciate when people make it seem like it's so easy to get where I even am right now, and it's not. It takes hard work, talent, devotion, and commitment. Well, I have worked hard, and it's beyond ridiculous to try and say I stole my own music when I have the licenses and data to each and every one of my original songs. The distribution companies know, my music agency knows, all of the stores know. So this has now become insane. Now people decided to tell their friends that I stole music. Well, I would never do that. and all started harassing and defaming me by posting to and not recommending my page, all because they have nothing better to do. None of these people apparently even know, let alone could know if I actually stole somebody's music and just jumped on the bandwagon, literally just to do it. Well, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that I've stolen anything. In fact, on the contrary, I have evidence that I do own all of my music. That is the insanity of all this. Gonna drop a bold opinion. A lot of people can't seem to understand what makes Carol of the Cartels so lackluster to me, but it's pretty simple. It's not that the song itself is bad, it's the drops. While I am not normally a fan of Boss Fight, this was a bigger disappointment than just being a Boss Fight release. Compared to other Boss Fight, it's actually pretty good. The issue with Carol of the Cartels is that it takes the original song, Carol of the Bells, and kind of kills the atmosphere it had. It starts out quite well, very true to the original, but with enough difference to be unique, and then the drop hits. That's where it all goes wrong. It would have been so easy to make the drop sound remotely Christmas related, but instead he got lazy and just made kind of a standard bang drop with cut-ins of Carol of the Bells here and there. It just sounded incredibly lazy, almost like Boss Fight had been making the drops before he heard about the Christmas album, and then he kind of took them, changed them slightly to add the Carol of the Bells cut-ins, and slapped them onto a Carol of the Bells build-up. It just killed the atmosphere that the original carried. I get wanting to do something different, but this ain't it, Chief. This new Skybreak EP is an absolute disaster. I don't dislike it, I don't unenjoy it, I hate it. Pure ear rape to my ears. One word to describe this project? Awful. All the songs aren't making any sense between each other's, and it is melodic rhythm? Cringe. Awkward. Every single songs are generic and don't deserve to be on Disciple main label. Weird that Virus Syndicate isn't on this EP because it would be fitting since this EP makes you want to throw up. The mixing is painful. The melodies are bad and the theme is boring. Real dubstep only consists of the Bristol underground jungle scene and the late 90s D&B scene. What is known by Midwest dubstep is nothing but wobbles with questionable, real jungle influence. When people try and argue that bands like Truth are not real dubstep, while saying that Excision is, I can't help not to cringe because they're just as fake dubstep as Excision, plus the pretentiousness. Real dubstep sounds energetic, powerful, and somewhat fake dubstep is weak self-pity and a failed attempt to direct energy and wobbles into music. Some examples of real dubstep are Scream, Skepta, Banga, the only real emo band from the Midwest scene, and Rusko. Some examples of fake dubstep are Stalesgetter and Excision. Dubstep belongs to jungle, not to trap, halftime, D&B, or any other mainstream genre. People here call out others for hating bass house and treating it like it killed their pets. But it did. My 10-year-old music label owning cat, monstercat, was horrendously murdered by bass house. He was my best friend, my heart and soul, and bass house killed him. They say cats are man's best friends. But monstercat went above and beyond. He was the #1 pet on the planet, and we would spend all our days listening to electro and bantering with the community together. In this cruel, miserable world, monstercat was my light in the darkness, my only hope, and bass house took it from me. I have never been the same ever since. Every time I listen to music, I lose my hearing for 2 hours. Shivering and crying, I have never been more sad and angry in my entire life. My mind is fueled only by my internal vendetta against the bass house. I remember the very second my precious monstercat started spasming when I played So Good by Good Times Ahead, and later went into cardiac arrest. Needless to say, there are not good times ahead. Quite the opposite, actually. There are only bad times ahead for the ones who murdered my poor monstercat, because I will find them and I will kill them. Fuck Bass House, and I hope it sucks a dick. I am so livid right now that I'm ready to cancel Bass House for being very stupid and killing my pet. Rest in peace, monstercat, for I will join you in heaven when I avenge your death in this world. God, I want to fuck 17AAL so fucking bad. Imagine him in bed, his lustful eyes gazing into you, says you penetrate his body, how warm he feels on the inside, his thick cable bending just right into your chest as you thrust into him mercilessly. Imagine the warmth and extreme pleasure that you must get when you finally release your load onto 170. I'm not reading this. Every label wanted to sign it, but no one knew it was me. I'm not gonna put people's names out there, but every fucking label wanted this song. This song is about to change house music forever. I am about a typical 16-year-old Redditor and fellow family member. I'm also highly socially awkward like most listeners of monstercat. I temporarily live with my parents as I recently lost my home, long story. Turns out I have a total crush on my sister and tend to get raging hard-ons when she's near, but she doesn't seem to care. One night my mom and dad go to their school reunion, they both met in school. I sat down and started listening to VR's new EP, 100% No Bangers, while my sister is upstairs doing whatever. Out of nowhere, sister comes into the living room wearing only my Monstercat second anniversary shirt. I got so fucking hard. He sits next to me, my bumper showing no signs of stopping. I can't help it and keep staring at her boobs. They're so fucking huge. So I talk to her about her day and just casual, when out of nowhere she rests her shoulder on me and strokes my hand. I stare her in the eyes and smile. She smiles back. I've been drinking a bit, so I try and make a move, knowing I can blame it on the vodka I've been drinking. Funnily enough, she fucking lets me. I begin groping her boobs, and I swear, I'm about to come in my fucking pants. She pulls away and says she can't. I ask her if it's because we're brother and sister. She says no, because she needs something first. Anything, I say, grabbing both of her hands. She stares deeply into my eyes, and in the most seductive way, bong, bong, bong. Now it was about this time that I realized this beautiful sister of mine was fucking Stonebank at his goddamn hardcore. Goddamn Stonebank had tricked me again. Thought I learned my lesson after holding on to that was terrible. I've never done anything like it ever again.